To security matters now, tragedy struck early on Wednesday in Gidan Bisa village, Silame Local Government Area, where a military airstrike targeting bandits mistakenly killed 10 villagers and several livestock. The strike occurred around 6 a.m. local time, according to local chairman Abubakar Gitta Rana. Governor Ahmed Aliyu, alongside APC leader Senator Aliyu Wamakko and Labour Minister Muhammadu Maigari Dingyadi, attended the funeral prayers for the victims. The governor described the incident as a tragic mistake, noting the military's prior successes in targeting criminal hideouts. He announced 20 million naira in support and 100 bags of food for the victims' families, while promising a thorough investigation to prevent future errors. The community remains in mourning as the state grapples with this unfortunate incident. Meanwhile, the Joint Task Force Northwest Operation Fansamyama has dismissed claims that its airstrikes in Sokoto State killed civilians, insisting the targets were terrorist associates. Reports earlier alleged that military jets mistakenly struck 2 communities in Silame Local Government Area, killing 10 civilians. Sokoto State Governor's Press Secretary Abubakar confirmed civilian casualties. However, Joint Task Force spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Abdullahi Abubakar stated the strikes in Gidan Sama and Rumtua were based on precise intelligence, targeting Lakurawa terrorist groups. He emphasized the military's rigorous reconnaissance to ensure civilian safety and urged the public to rely on verified information to prevent panic and misinformation. And so to give us more on this, we are joined by our correspondent Emmanuel Bagudu. Also joining us is Public Affairs Analyst Lawan Aliyu. Going to be starting with Lawan Aliyu. Lawan, thank you for joining us this afternoon. But we've got 2 very different stories here. One telling that yes, there was an airstrike that targeted mistakenly and killed 10 civilians, and then the other from the authorities saying that there wasn't such a thing. From where you are at, what's the situation, please?
The situation is still the same because the people who have been targeted have been sending signals that the airstrike mistakenly hit the people in the village. They were targeting the Lakurawa terrorists, as it was said in the news, but recently there was news that Lakurawa occupies some of the local government, including Silame, and the news came to the military, and they were trying to fish out those terrorists from those areas. But as you can see there, the incident happened at the early hour of yesterday, Wednesday, and at the early hour, that is around 6 a.m. But in a quick response to this issue, the governor of Sokoto State mobilized some members of his cabinet to go to the area, which is a difficult terrain. It's let's say a village in Silame Local Government Area, and people were just preparing to go for their normal businesses when the airstrike happened. Though this is the first time in Sokoto, but there are a lot of concern from citizens within this Sokoto state, and meaning in Nigeria that the military ought to have checked properly before dropping, though the military spokesman insisted that they were targeting Lakurawa.
Now we have Bagudu with us. Bagudu, thank you very much for joining us as well. Bagudu, what would you say regarding the disparity when it comes to the information we're getting regarding this airstrike, regarding the lieutenants telling that, hey, these were associates of the Lakurawa gang we have been trying to target? What was the immediate response from the governor or people in the area, Bagudu?
Into the number of lives of the citizens of Sokoto who lost their lives. I mean, the records are very clear. There are only 10 people for the records we have. 10 people in a community of over 5,000, 6,000. We're talking about Gidan Sama village and, of course, Rumtua village, all in Silame Local Government Area. Of course, you agree with me that, of course, these are just unfortunate citizens that are actually victims of of course, victims of collateral damage, which of the military should have used that statement, should have used that term to explain to Nigerians, which they didn't do. But of course, they are interested in silencing the Lakurawas, and then of course, they don't have they don't want to miss any words about the fact that they are after the Lakurawas, and then, but the truth of the matter is very clear. The situation is very clear here that the citizens of Silame Local Government Area, talking about the village of Rumtua and of course Gidan villages, are just victims who ran into the operations of the Nigerian Air Force, and then they become victims. So it is so clear. I want to concur with the statement of the army that they were only targeting Lakurawas, and there is no error. There is no error whatsoever. Yes, the error affected 10 people on record, and that 10 people are just maybe probably people. We have not been to that community yet. We're going to be in that community tomorrow morning. First thing tomorrow morning, we will find out. Probably I have been to those areas. I've been to Tangaza. I've been to Bini local government. I've been to Gadobawa local government. New Central mobilized me up to Ilela local government, Sokoto East and Sokoto North. I've been to those communities, and I know their proximity with this particular local government, Silame. I know the proximity with, of course, Gidan Sama and then Rumtua. I know those communities very well. I know that I have visited Gongono, and I have known that Lakurawas are operating within those axes. So it is not surprising that the Nigerian Air Force jet hit citizens, because those communities are intertwined with the forest while Lakurawas are operating. So it is not surprising that there will be a collateral damage. That was the statement I expected to hear from Army, that there's actually a collateral damage of 10 people, of which they mentioned, the Nigerian Army once confessed that they made a mistake of shooting a teenager in Zaria, which we reported during the bad governance protest. They should have admitted that this is a collateral damage, which we are expecting. But they didn't do that. But by the time we get to those communities, of course, we'll be able to give you details. Okay. But I believe it was targeted at Lakurawas and nothing more.
All right.
Nothing more, because we have visited those communities.
All right, now,
it's just 10 people that were hit. They were probably going to their farms, and then they're out. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Muhammadu. Now, let me come back to Lawan. Now, Lawan, regarding the Lieutenant Colonel Abdullahi Abubakar's statement regarding associates of the Lakurawas being in these spots, how does that affect the confidence of the citizens in these areas that, well, this unfortunate instance happened?
Yeah, the confidence of the people of Sokoto is that the military ought to have make a surveillance before carrying out that attack on locals around that area, because when things of this nature happen, though there are speculations around that this Lakurawa mixed with people, immediately they see army or any other people who are trying to attack them, they mix with people, and alongside they find their way. But there are concerns that the military ought to have carried out surveillance before taking that airstrike to kill about 10 innocent people in that local area. And people continue to throw their weight, though there are successes recorded in the fight against insurgency in the area, according to some officials. But this is a setback to the fight against insurgency.
Bagudu, are you aware how the military actually gathers its intelligence in these kinds of instances to try and minimize civilian casualties? How do they go about it?
Yes, I'm fully aware. I visited Tangaza local government, Gongono specifically, where the captain in charge of the 4th operating base, Tangaza, his name is Captain Martins Megamu, told us that the Lakurawas come in to marry wives, young girls within, because Tangaza is just a stone throw to Niger Republic in Sokoto. And then of course we have Bichi, we have Guadabawa, we have Ilela. The intelligence there is the fact that the military told us that the Lakurawa come in pretentiously to marry their children. In fact, we shared a video where we told you that a community chief told us that he has a wife in the Niger Republic, and that he finds it very difficult to identify who is a terrorist. He can't even differentiate between a Nigerian and a Niger person, because these Lakurawas are mostly from Niger, Burkina Faso, Mauritania, of course, Algeria, and of course, Benin Republic. So the entire intelligence is very, 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 trickish for the Nigerian military, of which they confess they are doing their best. They are going to work hard to make things work. But it's very, very difficult because the Lakurawas are taking advantage of their proximity to Nigeria and the acceptance they got from the Sokoto communities, talking about communities within Gongono in Tangaza local government area, Ilela, Godabawa, and then of course Savamburni, and then of course Isa local government area. So it is very difficult because they are intermarried, they are more like brothers. So that's where the intelligence issue is coming up, because you cannot differentiate between a Nigerian and a Nigerian in Tangaza local government, in Savamburi local government, Ilela local government, of course in the Gongono area. That is where the intelligence issue is, yeah.
Well, I wish we could go on with this conversation, but we have plenty more to tell in the news. But thank you very much, Bagudu, and thank you very much, Laman, for giving us this information.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.